What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we got some new build stuff. Packages just came in, so we have some boost plants. We have our WRGB from Chihiros for this new setup. What's happening? Basically, what's been happening in the studio is it was my birthday recently, so I went and bought a new tank, of course. Why not? And I had an old tall tank that I needed to rescape anyways, but it was taller than my 20 gallon that sits next to it. I'll kind of show you. So this tank right here is taller than my 20 gallon, and I don't like the aesthetic on it. So, sorry, you guys are a little crooked. Basically what I want to go through and do is just put this new tank right here. That's the same height, and it'll be the same height with the new Chihiros light. So for aesthetics, I didn't want to rescape the tall tank. I did a long, new tall. It's the 45T from UNS. Basically, this one is 17 wide by 11 depth by 14 high. So 14.17 is what this height is, and that's what this tank will be that we're going to be putting right here. So this is going to be broken down after I do a pre-scape. I'll pre-scape it here so it's easier for you guys to see, and then I'll put it here before I fill it up, but I'll break this one down as well and get everything out of it. I'll be taking all the fish and snails back to the local fish store here. So Kona Reef will be getting some lovely, well-fed rabbit snails and also some Danio raspora, so CPDs, Galaxy Pearl, CPDs, Galaxy Pearl Danios. And then the Hillstream Loach that is in here, I'll be putting just in this 20 gallon tank because I want to keep them as well. I would put the rabbit snails in here, but not enough space. I already have 4 in here. So we'll be gifting them, and they're a pair, they're a mating pair. There's a ton of babies in here. So if you are in the local to Arizona, feel free to check them out there. All right, so enough about that. This tank is gonna be Caridina driven. Basically, just so you're all aware, Caridina water parameters, feel free to check out my Caridina quick tip videos. You'll see them up here. Go check it out if you wanna know full in depth what I do for mine. But let me just talk about the hardscape. So the hardscape, you want to be hyper aware if you want a large breeding colony of inert or non-inert hardscape. I haven't had an issue because I haven't overly abundantly added non-inert hardscape into my aquariums for where my Caridina are. But this one I want to be overly cautious because I'm adding a ton of hardscape to fill the height of this tank. So with that in mind, I use lava stone. Lava stone is inert. It will not change your water parameters because be aware, Caridina shrimp do require no KH. They require GH, but no KH. That's why I can't also add my rabbit snails in here because there's no calcium additive into there for that KH side of your water parameters to help their shells. That being said, that's why I'm getting rid of my rabbit snails that were in that tank. Although I may keep them, you grow overly attached to just some of your inhabitants in your aquarium. So I'm still debating mentally when I break it down, are they gonna go into this holding tank that I'll send you all a new build again. It's gonna be a 6 gallon long one. I may wait, who knows? We'll figure it out later, but that's my attachment to my rabbit snails. Again, back to the hardscape. So lava stone, this is actually lava stone from my local aquarium store. Kona Reef has been getting a lot of their hardscape from UNS, and UNS has the best quality. As you can tell, I use their tanks, I use their substrate. I just love high quality aquascaping material. That's just my preference. You do not have to, so I'm not suggesting that you do. You do it within your budget. Fortunately, I was able to get this not at an extreme cost, and we'll go through. If you ever have any questions about the cost, feel free to comment. But again, lava stone is what I'm going to be using for the hardscape. The substrate is going to be the Pacifica from UNS. I've used it before on my small self-sustaining aquarium cube that I made for shrimp, and it was amazing. So it does have a red tone. They do have one, I think it's called Kona. Ironically enough, Kona Reef is where I go for a lot of my fish stuff, but Kona sand, and it's black. I wanted to give it some little contrast, and the Pacifica you'll see has some red contrast in it. That's going to help also with all of my buces, my nubuses, because those are going to be deep green. I do have some veins of red in some of the booses. Excuse me. So we'll figure that out. But again, this is what we're gonna be using is lava stone for this. It's inert. And then as always, what I do for my cycling of the tanks or getting them ready for water parameter wise is RDI water. It's a lot easier for me because here in Arizona, we have hard water. It's terrible water out of the tap. So I just go to the local fish store, get RDI water, remineralize it, and I'll talk about that when we get there. And that's what I do. Then I let it cycle for about 4 weeks. I'm gonna actually try something new this time around. From APT, from 2 Hour Aquarius, they have APT. Yeah, but why is it 2 Hour Aquarius? I guess it's their brand of APT. I'm gonna be trying their starter kit. So it's actually starter bacteria. So this is new for me. This will have bacteria actually to add, beneficial bacteria to add into the aquarium when you add the water. I usually use API Quick Start. And then also they have the substrate. So the starter is part of the substrate nutrients, which I'm gonna try as well. So I'll be using the UNS control soil as my base substrate versus the Aquascape pond soil that I typically use, but I'll sprinkle this in to see how well it goes. I'm not gonna have a bunch of rooted plants. I am gonna have some carpeting plants. So hopefully this helps. We'll see if it adds any difference. Of course, I'm gonna keep you all posted if you wanna try these out. I'm trying it all out for you. This video isn't sponsored as always. So don't worry about me picking because I'm getting things. This is all for you and me trying them out. As you're listening, you can take my experience and not have to go through those rugged experiences and try these out. Well, you don't have to try them out because you already know from my experience. But that's enough about this. What we're gonna do first is we're gonna add, as always, some little base substrate so that we can start scaping. That way I'm not scratching the bottom of the glass. Some people add foam. I haven't really done any research to like look up what foam is good to like have a base. So no foam for me, just a nice substrate of the control sand. Then we'll start adding our hardscape. Then we'll sprinkle around this beneficial bacteria. Well, it's not beneficial bacteria. It's like starting to help out your plants. But anyways, enough of me talking as always. I know, I'm sorry. You can skip through if you are tired of me talking. Let's hop on into the build and get this started. All right, so I already got everything set up. This time I did a lot of pre-setup to make things a lot easier on myself. But I have all my tools down here. In here is the lava stone. And then this is my light, my boost plants, and then I have a mat for carpet. But enough about that. Let's go here into the aquarium and see what we're gonna be having set up here. Perfect. So basically, again, this is the 45T. Take off the lovely, perfect labeling that they got because it comes off super easy. I will clean that as well because I left a little box. But let's go look at it. So here is the tank size. The price that I paid at the local store was $149. Yay, happy birthday to me. So 17 wide by 11 depth by 14 high. For all of you not here in the States, it is 45 centimeters wide by 28 depth by 36 high. It is 11.9 gallons. We'll see what this changes to when we have our hardscape in here. Typically, the other one was 15, so there's 5 gallons less. I'm gonna assume this will probably turn into full water, 6 gallons. We'll assume, hopefully, we don't know. We'll find out together. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is add our substrate base. This is gonna be control soil, most of it, and then we're gonna cap it down with our lovely Pacifica sand. So what I'll do is I'll add control soil in the back to give it some volume. Remember, depth When you're going through and scaping, you want the depth to go higher in the back, so it seems like the tank is deeper than it actually is. But first and foremost, we'll add a flat base, nothing in the front, because we want that Pacifica sand to come up. So let's go through and add some control soil. All right, so I want some more depth. So I'm gonna add some more control soil on the back. I'll take these pieces out. All right, so that's looking good. Basically what I kept moving around is I wanted to see the cove here, but I guess I won't. It's going to be leading towards the back here as the substrate goes higher towards the back. Nice little cove here. There's more light shining in now, which is good. So I think this is perfect. So move on to the right side. I'll glue this all down after. Yes, must glue here because these are just barely resting. But let's start moving some of this control soil around to this side, and then we'll start adding some hardscape over here. So I really like this piece because it has a hole. I don't know if you guys can see it. It has like a hole in it. I'm thinking of putting some control sand in here and letting the Monte Carlo grow out of it. Does that look cool? All right, so I didn't like how this wasn't closer to this side and there's more room. So I broke off this back corner here that was hitting the end. So now I can get it more snug to this side. All right, so I think that's starting to look good. Yeah, if you're high, second high, we just don't have a third low. And I don't know if I want to, because this is like a volcanic canyon. It looks so cool. I'm trying to think. I think we're good. I think it's time to start gluing. I could put something in here, but I almost think that we don't need to. Yeah, I'm done. If I sit here too long, I'm gonna think of other things to do. I'm just thinking, like, do I lower this? Is this too high? But it kind of looks like a cove. And then I'm sitting here thinking, do I put something in the center to make it one like kind of background? But I don't like the kind of background type feel. But I was conscientious thinking about my intake, outtake on both sides. So you'll have your intake or outtake, whichever side you want them on. So there's room in the back. And we'll take you back. Room back here, intake or outtake. I didn't want it to go all the way out of the tank because I'm gonna have a lid on it. This room has been getting humid with all the aquariums in here, so this will have a lid, but I think that's perfect, to be honest. Let's go through and brush this out forward, and then we can start adding our Pacifica sand. I think I might take off some of the control soil in here because I want more Pacifica sand than anything else. I don't want to have a huge substrate. Because I'm thinking I'm going to add like 1/2 inch. So I think a lot of it will get covered because I'm going to add up to. So I'm going to remove this, take out a lot of this control sand, get it to the back. That way then I have room for the Pacifica. So, as always, I hate when the control sand goes to the foreground, so what I need to do is add some foam. This is just from the filter on this side. I added a rock over here, so we'll be fine. But basically, just right over here, there's a spot when I add the control soil up to here that it will slide through. So you won't even be able to notice it. I actually need a little bit higher, so I'll add a second piece. Because right here is where some will come through. So I actually just added some stone and it worked. So I'm gonna add some more control soil to the back, right back here. All right, looking good. What I did was added control soil on the back, some right here. You can see it's starting to go through right there. And cleaned all this front. So now what I need to do is go through and add some of my glue. We need to glue this down. Oops, I forgot one piece. I need to go through and glue a lot of this down. We'll start with the left side. Now, a thing to remember when gluing is we're going to use this Flora glue, the aquascaping glue, and you use paper towel, drip it on there, and it starts to smoke and stay taut. So let's go through and glue some of this down. All right, so that was a lot of gluing. We're looking good. Now all I need to do is add my Pacifica sand. Well, nope. Got to add this nutrient dense layer, then the Pacific. So this is, it comes with a packet for the start bacteria, but this is what you add for nutrients for your plants. So we're going to go through and sprinkle it around. I don't think I need the whole thing, so we'll go through and do that. I wanted to, before I go and fill the substrate, I want to finish the scape where it's going to be. So what I need to do is break this tank down and get everything over to the aquarium store. So right now I'm going to break this down The Hillstream loach right here will be going in this tank. Rabbit snails are going to Kona Reef. As you can tell, they have a ton of babies in here. So we'll get them over to them. We'll keep the Bloody Mary shrimp in a holding tank. But until then, let's get this tank broken down. I'm not going to film it. We'll be back with the new 20 in this, new 10 in this area. But just wanted to fill you all in what I'm doing in between. All right, we're back right where it's going to be. So I'm pull it back a little bit. This is right next to the 20. It's the same height. It's 10 gallons. Well, it's 11. It has the same exact light. So the top part here is symmetrical now, which is great. They both come out to the same point. They're both the same height, which is what I've been wanting for a long time. The only thing I did between now and breaking down the tank and putting this tank here was this rock I added. So I broke down the 20. I ended up keeping my rabbit snails. They are in an intermediate spot. Well, the male and female, and then I took the babies over to Kona Reef. They're down here. That tank is going to be replaced later on. That's what I call Wolfie's tank, and you'll all meet Wolfie on the next video. But I'll be doing a 6-gallon down there. So for now, let's get back to this scape. Now I need to add the substrate. Now, if you remember, I'm doing something different here for the nutrient-dense substrate, which is this starter pack, which has the start for the base, nutrient-rich soil here. Well, it's like additive. Basically, what it has in it is nitrogen, muriatic nitrogen, ammonial nitrogen, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and some other stuff. So that's what it has in it. Hopefully that helps with a better base. And then it has a water additive, which I may or may not add because it says you have to have a dark start for the first 30 days. I'm assuming it's because it's going to create an ammonia spike, which will essentially create algae since I don't have any beneficial bacteria. So I'm assuming that's why it requires no light, which I may not do because why not have a light? But anyways, let's go through and add our substrate. It's right here. I already washed it. And yes, Pebbles decided to step in it because it was outside this room. And there's a lovely little cat footprint. I know a lot of people scape with like gloves and stuff. I don't care. Sometimes my pet hair gets in here. You should probably all care if you're super worried about it. I don't. But that's the Pacifica. So the Pacifica sand is what we'll be using for all of the areas in the foreground. So let's go through and add that. All right, looks good to me. So we have about quarter of an inch, no, almost half an inch, I would say, probably a quarter. It needs to flatten because, again, if you watch my 90L, I washed the sand and then I didn't let it dry. So that when the water goes in, it actually lets it settle and all the air pockets come up. So I'm going to be adding definitely sand when this is full. So what we need to go through and do now is start adding our epiphytes. Yes, it is planting time. You heard it right. So it's planting time. I'm going to prepare all of the plants. They come in like a rind zone. So I'll show you. It's like microfiber. So essentially, get some scissors. I just need to get these all ready. So this is a Anubis Petite. Basically, what I'll do with all of my epiphytes when they come like this is I'll take them out. Then, ooh, they have nutrient beads in these ones. You can kind of see they put nutrient beads in these. So I'll just pull one out very delicately and I'll clean that off. So essentially, just get these clean before I put them in. And just a little sneak peek of what I'll be adding, but I need to get them all ready. So let me go through and get them all ready. The scape is looking amazing. I love this blood red substrate. Can't wait to see what it looks like with everything in there. Really contrasts with the lava stones so well. It's like a lava scape. Then I can't wait to get some crystal reds, which I'm debating. I don't know if I'm gonna do those. I was at the fish store right now and I was about to pick some up and just have them in one of my holding tanks. But I don't know, maybe I'll get something super special. Who knows? I'm still deciding. That's the best part about this. I don't have to think yet of what I'm gonna add. I can pre-plan, but guess what? There's still the cycle period. So I have about 4 weeks to decide what I wanna put in this tank. But anyways, let's go through and get these plants ready and get them all planted. All right, so we got all of our plants ready. We'll go through one by one, just like we did in the last video. As I'm planting them, show them with their name, and then plant them. This can be a slower process because I'm gonna see how many of these epiphytes can stay within crevices so I don't have to glue. I don't have great success. If you're watching this and you do, would love for you all to teach us the best way to glue and not ruin the rind. Like, do you glue on the roots? The rind's right here. I don't know. Anyways, feel free to comment. Let's go through and try to see where we can get everything to fit. All right, so everything looks perfect. Now what we need to do is fill this up with RODI and remineralized water. What I use to remineralize my water is the bee shrimp from Salty Shrimp. Focus this here. Bee shrimp from Salty Shrimp. Read the directions on the back, tells you how to do it, but that's what I do. So let's go through and fill this up. All right, so I forgot a couple more. Since I don't have tall stem plants, I'm gonna plant all of my plants now and then fill it up. But I did add some accent stones, so yeah, that's what you're seeing, accent stones. So let's go through and plant my other plants. All right, that's perfect. So now let's go and fill this thing up. All right, everybody, it's the next day. Super amped at how amazing this tank looks. My lily pipes did come in. I'm just gonna wait till probably about a month to switch them out. The flow rate's good with these, so I'm not too worried about it. Just aesthetically, like, I prefer my clean, clear lines that will go directly down. But for now, we'll just keep this as is. I think the lid will fit. I have the lid right here, so I'll be adding the lid to this as well. But what an amazing scape. So the substrate we used was the Pacifica from UNS, the Hardscape also from UNS, but I got it at my local aquarium store. It's the lava stone, a bunch of epiphytes. We have some carpeting plants as well, but super excited to see how this thing grows out. Again, for Caridina shrimp. So be aware, make sure you let the tank cycle. I used API Quick Start. I didn't use the stuff from 2 Hour Aquarius because it said dark start for 3 weeks and I didn't want to do that. So I said, forget that. I don't want to not have this thing on at all light-wise. I want to look at it, admire it. So I just didn't do it that time. But basically went through and did that. So we're all set now. See this setting in. We'll do an update video. Hopefully you all enjoyed this, but let's go through and do a fly through before we end this video. That was the fly through. How amazing was this scape? Thank you for making this journey with me and scaping my newest tank. I appreciate you. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments. If you want to see any other tip videos or any videos in mind, let me know. I'll go through and create them for you as well. And if you listened to this far, please take this moment to like and subscribe, maybe even set those notifications for the future. I truly appreciate you for tuning in to this and watching along with me, and hopefully you enjoyed it just as much as I did. We're gonna let this tank cycle. We're gonna throw out an update video later on with this as well. But until next time, I'll see you all on the next build video.